Hey everybody, Nick Espinoza, your chief security fanatic here, and today I've got some great news. I'm a fan. Celebrate good times. Come on. Websites are ditching Facebook's login due to privacy concerns, and woo, this is great. I am thrilled. NBC News, I got you covered here, or rather, I'm ripping you off because this is awesome, and here's what's going on. So, as they open on NBC News, and I quote, until about a month ago, shoppers on Dell's website looking for a new laptop could log in using their Facebook credentials to avoid creating a new username and password. That option is now gone. Yes, big fan. Now, Dell isn't alone, and this is interesting. Other big brands, we're talking Best Buy, Ford Motor Company, Pottery Barn, Nike, Panagonia, Match, the dating website, and Amazon's video streaming service Twitch have all basically removed the ability to sign in using Facebook's SSO or single sign-on. Now, this obviously is a huge departure from just a few years ago when the Facebook login was basically all over the internet alongside buttons that let you use other single sign-on platforms like Google, Twitter, and LinkedIn. Now, according to Jen Felch, she is Dell's Chief Digital and Chief Information Officer, she said that people stopped using social logins, probably not just Facebook, for reasons that include concerns over security, privacy, and data sharing. Quote, we really just looked at how many people were choosing to use their social media identity to sign in, and that just shifted over time. One thing that we see across the industry is more and more security risks or account takeovers, whether that's Instagram or Facebook or whatever it may be. And I just think we're observing people making a decision to isolate that social media account versus having other connections to it. End quote. Jen, yes. I'm going to buy you a drink if I ever meet you. I am a huge fan of that. If people are actually looking at security risks associated with Facebook, one of the largest data miners on the platform, and saying, yeah, no, I'd rather isolate these things, that is a huge win for the cybersecurity community, but I digress. Now, the disappearing login is the latest sign of Facebook's diminished influence on the internet following more than a decade of quote-unquote spectacular growth, according to NBC News. Now, in the past year, the company's business has been beset by Apple's iOS privacy change, which made it much harder to target ads. See my video and podcast from the other day on, I think, Apple ramping up to be the next big data miner, not to mention a deteriorating economy, competition from TikTok, which is quite frankly kicking its butt in the younger generations, and reputational damage after whistleblower leaked documents, not to mention all of the other litany of things. I've literally done videos for years over this. Like, seriously, this is a great day. Like, I am so excited that nobody is using like Facebook or that this is lowering. This is great. And I'm trying to stay on task here, but this is just exciting news. Honest to God, I'm gonna send these NBC writers bottles of scotch or something too. Now, revenue in the third quarter is expected to drop for the second straight period for Facebook again. Big fan. Late last year, Facebook changed its name to Meta, which basically, and I quote, reflecting an effort to move the company away from social media and towards a futuristic metaverse where people would work, play, and learn in a virtual world, end quote. In NBC News, you're doing great here so far, but honestly, I think they were just deflecting from the major scandals that they've had, not to mention Frances Haugen, the whistleblower, who I will buy a shelf of scotches if she wants. Love her. Now, let's talk about this, because in a nod to basically shift that consumer behavior, Meta said this past July that VR users will be able to access headsets without their Facebook credentials, meaning Meta is seeing the way the wind is blowing for their basically largest money-making generator that is essentially funding everything else, because Facebook is funding everything that Meta does for the most part. Prove me wrong. Meta and a Facebook spokesperson declined to comment to NBC News on this, but this is huge news. I really can't stress this enough. How much, one, I'm obviously thrilled if you couldn't tell, but two, yes, I believe in single sign-on platforms, but they have to be identity management providing platforms that actually look for behavioral threat intelligence as opposed to just data mine the bejesus out of you. And it always bothered me from the very sense that, like, oh, log in with your Facebook account, log in with your Google account, log in with your LinkedIn account. No! Facebook doesn't need to know what I'm doing when I'm going to sites outside of Facebook, nor does Google or anything else, not to mention the ad trackers that they've got absolutely everywhere, which is the next bastion I'm sure we'll be talking about sooner than later. But Facebook losing out essentially in that data mining as you are not using your Facebook account as an actual login to do anything from buy from Dell or Patagonia or Best Buy or Ford. For all places, this is great. This is huge. This is what I want to see. Let's compartmentalize that data. Let's make it harder to break into your life. And let's not give Facebook any more competitive intelligence that they can use to sell to basically advertisers without your knowledge, or on the periphery of your knowledge, I should say. So this is great news. That's a wonderful Friday. I am thrilled. Smile on my face all weekend now. And there you go. And please like, share, follow me here on Facebook and Twitter, but just don't use them for single sign-in options. Same with YouTube, a Google product. And as always, stay safe, stay online, please stay private, and together we can overcome Facebook. Thanks, everybody.